Right now, you and I are sitting or lying down in a perfectly comfortable room. Your clothes? They probably never touched a real animal. You've already eaten today, Mita, honestly, maybe a bit too much. And right there in your hand, you hold a device with access to all of human knowledge, and you're using it to watch this. If a human from 300,000 years ago looked at my life and yours right now, he wouldn't understand a single second of it. Not one. But here's the thing that should genuinely disturbing. Our bodies would be completely recognizable to them. Same two eyes, same ridiculous lack of fur, same panicked sweat glands, same stomach that starts complaining 4 hours after a meal. Me and you, biologically, the exact same creatures that once had to figure out how to eat a mammoth, with nothing but our hands and a sharpened rock. So the question isn't really, could you survive like your ancestors? The real question is, why is your body still built like you have to? Today, you and I are going to find out. And our answer involves a totally confused immune system, one incredibly lucky cave fire, and a philosophical sucker punch we won't see coming. Your body is a 300,000-year-old problem. Let's do a quick audit. Let's figure out exactly what that ancient version of you and I was built for and how catastrophically we've strayed from it. Food. Our bodies expect to go hungry, not I skipped breakfast hungry, days between meals hungry. Our whole fat storage system, the reason your body and mine panic and hold on to calories exists because you and I never knew when the next meal was coming. Our insulin response, our cravings for fat and sugar, our inability to stop eating once we've started, these are not character flaws. They are ancient adaptations. Your genome and mine are basically survival manuals written for a world where finding a berry bush was a celebration. Sleep. 8 hours in a soft bed? That's not what our bodies evolved for either. Studies of modern hunter-gatherers show that our ancestors slept in irregular cycles. They woke up in the middle of the night, slept on the hard ground, outside, listening for danger. That 3 a.m. anxiety spiral you and I get, that might literally be your ancient watch shift instinct and mine. Movement. Our ancestors walked an average of 9 to 15 kilometers a day, not on a treadmill, not tracking steps, just existing. Finding food, carrying water, avoiding things that wanted to eat them. Our bodies still expect this. That's why sitting for 8 hours makes you and me feel like a wrung-out dishcloth. You are not a lazy person living in a modern world. You are a very efficient prehistoric human living in a world that no longer requires efficiency. But here's where it gets interesting. Because you're probably thinking, okay, I'd be rubbish at ancient survival. Soft, pampered, one bad night without my mattress and I'm finished. You might be more wrong about that than you think. You are a sweat machine? Here is a fact about we humans that sounds like a compliment until you think about it too hard. Our species is one of the best distance-running animals on the entire planet. Not the fastest, not the strongest, but in terms of sustained long-distance endurance across the heat, we humans would beat a horse, we would outlast a cheetah. You and I would absolutely destroy a lion in a 50-kilometer ultra-marathon. This sounds hard, right? Humans can barely open jars. But the mechanism is genuinely remarkable. Most mammals cool themselves by panting. They have to stop running to cool down. You don't. Looks fun, yes. You sweat. Your entire skin is covered in approximately 2 to 4 million sweat glands, far more than virtually any other primate, and they work continuously, even mid-sprint. And it gets stranger. Your lack of fur, which seems idiotic for a creature that evolved in Africa, is directly connected to this superpower. Less hair means more surface area for sweat to evaporate. You essentially shed your fur coat and became a professional-grade cooling unit in bipedal form. Other animals are wearing full parkas in the midday sun. I show up in a t-shirt and I outlast them. It was never just about surviving. Okay, here's where I need you to stay with me. Because everything we've talked about so far, the food storage, the sweat glands, all of it has been framed as survival. as biology, as pure practicality. But there's a detail in the archaeological record that doesn't fit that framing, and it changes the entire story. Around 100,000 years ago, at a site in South Africa called Blombos Cave, researchers found something unexpected. Ochre, a red pigment, ground into powder, mixed with fat, stored in abalone shells. This wasn't food, this wasn't a weapon, this wasn't insulation, this was cosmetics. Or at minimum, it was the intentional creation and storage of color for some symbolic purpose. Body painting, cave marking, ritual, something that had meaning beyond survival. Humans were decorating themselves before they'd figured out agriculture, writing, or metallurgy. The need to mark ourselves to signal who we were is as ancient as the need to eat. My mind is amazed, and I think about what that means. In the middle of an existence defined by constant physical threat, predators, starvation, exposure, a human being sat down and made red paint. They weren't just surviving, they were meaning-making. And this is what separates us from every other animal that could outcompete us on paper. A chimpanzee is stronger, a dog has a better nose, a migratory bird navigates better. A cat survives with less effort, and yet none of them built a civilization. None of them wondered why they existed. None of our fellow creatures drew a handprint on a cave wall, leaving it as a message to you and me across 40,000 years of time. That handprint in Chauvet Cave in France or El Castillo in Spain that is someone saying, I was here. Someone with no concept of what writing was, no alphabet, no language as we know it, still reaching across millennia to tap you on the shoulder and say, we existed, we noticed things, we wanted to be remembered. Our survival instinct and our search for meaning aren't separate things. They are the exact same engine. We drive to keep us alive, and our drive to keep our stories alive, to leave a mark, to build something real, to be part of something that outlasts us, this is our true human upgrade. This is what we are. This is what 300,000 years of improbable survival looks like from the inside. Full circle. So, back to you. Sitting in your climate-controlled room. Could you survive in the most ancient of human conditions? Stripped of your technology, your food systems, your infrastructure? The honest answer is probably not alone. At first, you'd be cold, you'd be hungry, you'd make genuinely terrible decisions about which berries to eat. You would at some point be outdone by an animal you had previously seen only in a nature documentary. But here's the thing, neither could your ancient ancestor, alone. Our survival was never a solo project. We survived because of our tribes, because of shared knowledge, which plant to avoid, which path to follow, which friend in the group knew how to keep a fire going through a storm. We survived because someone taught someone who taught someone else, in an unbroken chain of passing it down across tens of thousands of years, all the way to you and me. Every single piece of knowledge we hold, our ability to read these words, to understand what cold and hunger and danger really mean, all of it is a gift. It's the accumulated gift of every human being who lived before us, who looked at the future and chose to pass something down to you and me. The ancient conditions aren't over. You are still inside them. You are a walking, breathing result of all the right people surviving all the wrong situations at exactly the right moments. Your weird, inefficient, anxiety-prone, sugar-craving, late-night spiral-having, meaning-obsessed brain isn't a bug from the modern world. It is the exact instrument that got our species here. You are not ill-equipped for the ancient world. You are the ancient world. Looking at a screen, wondering what it means, and that the fact that you're sitting there wondering about it at all is maybe the most ancient human thing there is. If you woke up 300,000 years ago with everything you know right now, what's the first thing you'd try to do? Tell me below.